Hi everyone, this is Palladian Star Healer. So, upon request from a member from my group, I'm going to do a video. Well, this video is about cord cutting, being able to visualize in order to do cord cutting or any type, like during meditation, mantras, and affirmations. So, we're going to begin with what is the difference between mantras and affirmations. Now, mantras, there are sounds or words that are said to help you raise your vibration. And they're usually spoken for a specific intention. For example, the mantra Om, right? We have, like in Kundalini Yoga, we have Har. And Har is usually used to bring in prosperity. So there's certain poses that you will be in, and you will continuously, say Har, Har, while bringing in the diaphragm in, say Har, Har, and those are said to bring in prosperity. Now, affirmations, they're statements that are used to help conquer negative, self-sabotaging thoughts. Okay, for example, you would say like, I am strong, I'm beautiful, I'm flawed, but I'm human and I'm learning, So these kind of affirmations are created to help us view, to get out of that kind of negative thought pattern, So when you are succumbed with a negative thought, for example, like if you're being too judgmental on yourself, you're over criticizing yourself, you're being too hard on yourself, you can say things like, I'm still learning, I am compassionate towards myself because I'm still learning, so those kind of affirmations bring a type of awareness and mindfulness to your thought patterns and being able to shift that kind of negative pattern that we have into something more positive. And it helps build up this kind of being able to shift. Because usually when you're so used to being negative, it can be really hard to change the negative thought patterns. Because like everything, it's a practice. So with practice, it will become something very natural. It'll be something that instead of you having to think it, like to actually say it and remind yourself, your mind automatically will carry on its own conversation. So like if you feel like you failed at something, whereas before you would be like, oh, I'm a failure, I'm a disappointment, it would be like, I failed at that. But you know what? I'm still learning, I'm trying, I can do better next time. You see, so your own mind will be able to shift the conversation that it's having between, your conscious and your subconscious. So now we're gonna go over like cord cutting. So cord cutting, a lot of people like cord cutting, energetic cord cutting is being able to cut ties, for example, with someone, or situations or emotions that contribute to our illness or negative vibrations. Okay, so it's basically like bringing back whatever energy we're pouring into something or someone, and we're able to bring that back. Sometimes like when we physically break up with someone, sometimes depending on the connection, it really isn't always enough. It is great also to do a cord cutting, an energetic cord cutting. Now, someone from my group asked, like to go over that kind of mantra or that kind of affirmation. So I'm a big believer that although it's great to find these things online and be able to write them down and say it, I feel like when we create our own passages for these things, it works better because it's something very personal. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with affirmations. Although you can Google, what are affirmations, it's best to create something for yourself because it's really deeply personal for yourself. So you can use what you research as templates, to get an idea of how you want to create your affirmation, but I do feel like anything that you put your personal touch in would work 100 times better and more faster than if you're using someone else's, okay? Because the person who created it, they know what kind of feeling and intent and energy they were putting into that development of the affirmation. Get what I'm saying? So it's best if you do that for yourself, because words are magic. And as I've said in one of my bed talks about You Are Magic, everything is about intent. And what we say manifests, what we think manifests. So it's the same thing, so when you're gonna do a cord cutting, you can say things like, I now cut the tie between, me and said person, and then just say what you will want back. I want my energy, positive energy returned to me. I want to feel better. I release them in all positivity with no harm. May they find their own way, their own path to healing or their own journey, and I want to be able to continue mine. I find that the more detailed, the better. And I feel like it also prepares you as a person on a physical and mental level to be able to let go. Because when we do decide to do cord cutting, it's because that is a part of us that we're ready to say, that's enough. We're not doing this no more. Okay? So I feel like the cord cutting and saying those, developing our own spell, our own, prayer or passage or whatever feels good to you, it reinforces that energy of you wanting to move forward. And usually when we do cord cutting, sometimes it doesn't always have to be like to break up with someone, like to say like, I want them far away. You can do it when, for example, like if you and your family member or your partner had an argument, you want to do a cord cutting, you can do that. You can do it for the energy and say, you know what, we argued, let's dissipate that energy that was brought between you and that person. So you would want to say, you know what, I cut, this tense energy, and I fill it up with light instead. Okay, so it's all about intent and what you want to do, and just make sure always that when you do these things, to fill it with light and positivity, and it's just filling up, just like rejuvenating your own energetic field. Okay, because when you do, in most cases where you do feel like you may really need a cord cutting, is if the people you're around, they drain you, they cause you unexplained feelings of sadness, depression, confusion, where you feel energetically depleted, things of that nature. So you definitely would have to consider on letting, these people go, right? And I do know, like going into visualization, right? I do know that a lot of people have trouble with that. And I thought so. At first I thought I did too. But with, obviously, like always, like I said before, with practice, you get better. Like anything you keep doing, practice makes permanent. So as you keep doing it, you'll get faster, you'll get better. It'll become, instead of being a struggle, it'll be something that you instantaneously say, you know what, this, and you could just see it. Okay, so everything takes practice, and also it takes patience. Okay, do know that everyone is different. Some people may develop this technique faster than others. Some just need a little extra work, perhaps because of the thought patterns and things. So it's normal. So I feel like most specifically the foundation of beginning to visualize during meditations or anything you choose to do, you definitely have to have patience towards yourself and the process, compassion towards yourself, that if you can't do it right away, this is where the affirmation will come in. Say like, I'm having trouble, but that's okay. I'm still learning. It's gonna take time. I still perhaps need more practice. It doesn't mean I'm a failure. I need more practice. So this is where the affirmations will definitely help shift that kind of thought process into something more understanding. Okay. And for me, I find that when it comes to visualization, I'm going to give you a great example, because a lot of people say, like, I can't visualize. Yes, we can. First off, the big foundation is knowing you can. Okay, because if you approach anything with the ideology of you can't, you won't. Simple as that. If you believe you can't, you're right. And if you believe you can, you're also correct. You know, so first off, when we're approaching cord cutting, being able to visualize to do a cord cutting, first off, you need to believe that you can, which you're correct. You can. Everyone can, okay? Because we all have, we're all divine, okay? You know, we're all capable of amazing things, okay? So I'm going to give you a more understanding of what visualization is. For example, if someone says to you, like, they don't have it in their hand, for example, right? And they go, do you want an apple? What do you see? What does your mind eye see? It sees an apple, right? You don't see it physically there, but your mind understands that it's an apple, and you know that it's red, or however your own mind perceives the apple to be. So it could be really red, or it could be like red with the green spots on it, you know, a Macintosh apple. So, you know that even though it's not there, you can see it in your mind's eye. So that's what visualization is. So if someone says, like, do you want an apple? You know, your mind's eye is not going to see a strawberry. You know, your mind's going to go, oh, yes, an apple. You can, already envision the apple. It's just the same thing. It's the same thing when we do visualizations for cord cutting or meditation. Okay, so for example, you go like cord cutting. So it's just basically applying your physical experiences to your visualization. Okay, so for you go a cord cutting, you can envision a rope. We all know what a rope looks like, right? Let your mind interpret what kind of rope it wants to use. So perhaps for me, it will be, you know, a basic like Siemens rope, you know. Perhaps for you, a cord, you envision an appliance cord, you know. So let your mind, don't doubt it, don't second guess it, because that's another thing too. You have to do your best, not interfering with your mind's process, the way it wants to perceive these visualizations, because there is no wrong way. You understand? And that's the thing, you know. Everyone has their own mind, has their own interpretation of what looks like what to them. You know, perhaps, you know, everyone has a different perception of what red can be to them. You know, perhaps a lighter red, a brighter red, a dark red, crimson, you know. So basically what I'm trying to say is just throw out all the rules of like, it has to be this way, it has to be that specific color, it has to be, don't do that. Okay, so when we do cord cutting, so for example, if you envision there's a rope, right, tied between you, a rope around your waist, and then there's a connecting rope and tied to the other person. However that rope looks to you, that's totally fine. Now, if you want to envision you burning the cord, we all know what fire looks like, right? However the color wants to appear in your mind's eye, whether it could be like red orange, bright orange, or with the blue flame, and you can envision this flame burning, severing that tie, right? So it's just allowing your mind's eye to do what it has to do, because the whole point really is to get to the result, and that's severing the connection, right? And you know, and when people, like when we do listen to a guided meditation, sometimes they will say, you know, you should see a blue flame, but maybe perhaps for you it's green. Don't mess with that. Don't mess with it, because there's a reason. You understand? Perhaps maybe the person that's speaking says blue, but perhaps your spirit knows why it's green. Perhaps it's more in affiliation with your heart chakra. Do you get what I'm saying? So don't mess with it. Don't go, oh, you see, I'm not doing it right. Stop that. That is the ego trying to tell you and make you feel worse about yourself than what you really should. Okay? So, you know, even if you're listening to a guided meditation, trying to visualize, and it says, you know, see a blue flame, but the flame appears, you know, green or blue, or if it does, you know, that's great, or red, or yellow. Don't go, oh man, I messed up already. No, let it be. There's a reason why it appeared to be that color in the first place. Okay, so you can visualize anything, and that is the beauty of being able to visualize and do your own visualization, because it's limitless, and there are no rules for that. That's why having an imagination is an amazing thing, because the possibilities are endless. And the fact that in our physical world we see so many different colors and we experience so many different things, we can apply those physical elements into our limitless spiritual way of doing things. So if you want to envision, instead of a flame, perhaps a sword, whatever you feel guided to use. So perhaps you want to use a giant scissor. You see, when it comes to visualization, there is no physical law. There is no physical law. So like, even if you envision a gigantic scissor and you know that in a physical sense that's impossible, that's okay. You understand? Just leave it like that. Use that, whatever feels comfortable for you, however you want to visualize. The whole point is just getting to the result of why we're doing this thing to begin with. And of course, with practice, it will be faster. You'll find yourself a lot more faster, being able to visualize. Because now when I do a visualization, especially because most of it can Reiki, for example, or when I do healings, light healings, it involves a lot of visualization. There's certain things that I see, certain types of images and light, and it just depends really on the person that I'm healing. So and sometimes there's nothing at all, and that's fine too. So with practice, you get better, it gets faster, and you really start to feel and see the difference. And most of it just takes intent, believing in what you do. Because if you have doubt, it will interfere with the process, and not just with what you're trying to do, but just in general with the visualization. Self-doubt is a true killer. It really is. Okay, so first up, just believe you can, and visualize whatever comes to you. We all can do it. No, people who've been doing this for a while, there is no because they're better, they're somehow more superior. No, it's that they practice just like everybody else. Some people may come a little bit faster, more natural. That's congratulations, that's fantastic. It doesn't make you less. It just means that you just need to practice more. Okay, so I also would encourage that when we do cord cutting and visualizations, that before we do that, you surround yourself. I always, a lot of teachers say, surround yourself in gold light. It's just great. I always say surround yourself in the color that makes you feel safe, a color that makes you feel comfortable. So if you don't want to go with the gold color, choose a color that you feel safe in, or choose surrounding. Some say, you can surround yourself in a gold orb or white orb, but you can surround yourself in glass, in shield, again, whatever is right for you. The whole point is trying to teach you to follow what is right for you. This is one way that you can honor yourself, to honor what you feel goes along with your spirit, with your soul, and with what you're trying to do. Okay, so it's just basically just honoring yourself. So you choose what you feel safe in, you surround yourself in that, and then that's where you begin. You can write the things down, try to memorize them. You can keep it really short and simple, like again, it's whatever feels right. If you want to write a long passage, you can do that. It is something that is real deep for you, because you, especially when we're severing connections with people that we know, so you know why you want to sever that connection. You know what you want to bring back into your your auric field, back into your body. You understand? So you know best. So be as specific as you want, be detailed, and say what you want, and of course always wish the person well, and fill them with light, as and let them go on their journey, and allow fill yourself with light. It's the same thing with visualizing that light coming in from your crown, you know, and into your, all the way down into your feet, into your rooted. You can also, which I didn't mention before, but like I was saying, you know, when we're gonna do these kind of core cuttings, or any type of guided meditation or visualization, it is good to ground yourself because we're getting into our higher self and spirit. So you can do that. Like, this is where the first steps of visualization will come in. You know, you visualize light, you know, gold, white, the cosmic blue light, turquoise light, you know, whatever you feel comfortable with. And you envision this color going in from the crown and working yourself way down, down, down into your legs, down to your knees, into your feet, and, you know, going into the ground like a tree. You can envision yourself like a rooted tree, you know, finding its roots or have it connect to the heart of Mother Gaia. So it depends on what you feel more close to, more guided to do. And then you can do like surrounding yourself in, you know, whatever light or object you feel comfortable in, and then you can proceed, you know, to do the core cutting. You can develop your own affirmation that is more personal. I will always encourage for people to follow and to create their own things, because that's something more personal. And I feel like when it's very personal, the energy, the intent is way more stronger than if you're using, for example, mine. Like if I develop one and say here, of course it'll work, you know, but I feel like when it's us, it teaches us also how to do these things on our own, you know, because I love to help people, but I like to help people help themselves, okay? And just to know that you can, you know, that is the first rule. Know that you can do anything you like. It just takes practice. We all have gifts. We all have that energy. We all have that connection. You know, we just need to tap into it on a regular basis, you know, get into the practice of it. Okay, so I hope this video was informative. If you have any questions, you know, feel free to, you know, leave it in the comment box, or share your techniques of what helps you visualize. What do you visualize? Colors, objects. You can join me on my other social medias, my Facebook at Palladian Star Healer, and on Instagram at Palladian Star Healer. Thank you so much for watching, and if you like this video and my content, you know, feel free to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. And also take a peek at my other videos. I have a lot of other videos there. I do Starcast, I do bed talk, tarot tales, and I have a whole lot of other stuff that I'm planning on doing too. Alright, so thank you so much again for watching, and I will see you guys another time. Oh, and also, you know what, before I go, if anyone else has a request that they want to know about something, they're curious about something, you know, feel free also to ask that in the comment box as well. And I will also leave, obviously, my links in to my Facebook and Instagram in the description box, okay? So now I'll let you guys go. All right, so thank you so much. I see you. Bye-bye.